Week 7, Day 2. The tempest spills out of the teapot. That's a reference to an expression we say, a tempest in a teapot. A tempest is a storm. So a tempest in a teapot means what looks like a big storm, but it's actually very small. It's inside a teapot, so it's not a big storm at all. It just somebody's trying to make it into a big storm. Once the newspapers got the story, the case of the long hairs became a cause célèbre, or celebre. Ron and Lynn were interviewed, seen on TV, and regarded by their fellow students as heroes. These are not delinquents or hoods, one reporter wrote, but clean-cut American boys who are being harassed by a monolithic school system. Okay, let's look at several of those. Cause célèbre, that's I guess a French expression, a celebrated conflict. It's just what you read about in the paper every day. Like today, it would be the coronavirus is the cause célèbre, and the hospital workers who are fighting against it. That's why we cheer for them. It's the cause célèbre. They regard those students as heroes. These are not delinquents. A delinquent means you're past due. If you have a delinquent payment, you're overdue to pay the payment. But a juvenile delinquent is someone, a bad kid, a kid who does bad things, maybe steals, things like that. So he's not a murderer, but he puts graffiti on walls, he cheats, he steals. That's a juvenile delinquent. Or a hood. Now, a hood refers back to the 50s or so. A hood was a teenager, generally, a young person who was a delinquent. A hood is just no good, just a no good person that nobody likes, so they're rebellious. All right, so these boys were not delinquents or hoods, one reporter wrote, but clean cut. Clean cut means nice haircut, neat, very proper, obedient. It's the opposite of delinquents and hoods who are being harassed. All right, so harassed means to be troubled, irritated, pursued. So in the workforce, harassment might be because of your race. You know, if you are a black person, they can say they are harassed because of their color, or maybe because of your speech or your religion or any reason. You can be harassed. That means unnecessary labor or bad things being done, but for no reason. All right. So they were being harassed by a monolithic school system. A monolith is a large rock. So anything that's very solid and large is called a monolith. So a monolithic school system means there's only one way to dress, one way to act, one way to do your hair. So the school system said there's only one way to behave. Nothing else is tolerated. That's called monolithic system. A caustic editorial. Now, caustic means, in a chemistry sense, a caustic is a base, right? That very strong base. It's a caustic soda. It's opposite of an acid, but it's harmful. So a caustic editorial means one that's angry, mean, referred to the school's decision as arbitrary. meaning it could be they just decided to do this because they wanted to. There was no reason for it. There's no reason why the boys couldn't have long hair. It's just the school did not like long hair, so it said, arbitrarily said, you can't have hair that long. And inane means it doesn't make sense. Something that's inane is ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. Why would you worry about why somebody's hair is long or short, as long as it's clean? A false story even circulated about the boys being rock and roll performers whose indigent families needed their salaries. All right. Indigent, very poor, very poor. We talk about an indigent cemetery in a town. In New York, they're burying people on this island there that is reserved for people that have no family. And so the street people, when they die of the virus, they're burying them out on this island in mass graves. That's an indigent cemetery. Most towns will have a portion of the cemetery for people who can't afford burial. It's called the indigent cemetery. That's the most common use of that word. Very poor. Finally, the Civil Liberties Union jumped into the fray. A fray is a battle, a skirmish. It's another word for skirmish. With a court order stipulating that the principal be required to show cause why the boys should not be allowed to return to class. All right, so stipulating means to agreeing to, that they are challenging the principal of the school to say, you must now say why they can't return to class. You cannot be arbitrary. You must give a reason why. So that's what the lawyers said the school had to do, to give a reason why. Okay?
Thank you.